analysis from TT Guardian, how public procurement in Trinidad and Tobago collapsed so deeply that hundreds of millions of dollars in state funds were channeled to a small circle of politically connected companies over more than a decade, largely without competitive tendering, without effective oversight, and without consequence. This did not happen by accident. It happened under the political stewardship of Prime Minister Keith Rowley and Finance Minister Cummings, whose administration designed, tolerated, and defended the procurement environment that allowed Foster Cummings and companies linked to him to thrive. The case involving Foster Cummings is not simply about one former minister or one contractor. It is a clear example of institutional capture and governance failure inside state agencies, especially the Housing Development Corporation. It shows how decisions made at cabinet level translate into unchecked discretion at operational level, and how silence from political leadership becomes permission. At the center of this case is Clyden Enterprises Limited, a company connected through documented business and administrative links to Foster Cummings and his close network. The issue is not that Clyden did business with the state. The issue is how that business was awarded, priced, extended, and protected from scrutiny year after year. Between 2017 and 2018, Clyden received grass-cutting contracts at the Housing Development Corporation through oral agreements. These were not emergency responses. These were routine maintenance services. The monthly cost was about $250,000. That equals $3 million per year. Over 3 years, $9 million, initially without open tender. In public procurement, oral contracts are a serious red flag. They bypass competition, price comparison, conflict checks, and audit transparency. They rely almost entirely on trust. In this case, that trust was placed in politically connected actors operating inside politically controlled institutions. Worse still, those oral contracts were ratified months after the work was already done. Ratification does not correct wrongdoing. It legitimizes it after the fact. It signals that rules can be broken first and regularized later. That culture does not develop on its own. It develops when leadership sends no signal that consequences will follow. Documents show the original monthly sum was typed as $150,000, then crossed out and changed by hand to $250,000. That is an extra $100,000 per month or $1.2 million per year, altered without transparent justification, independent review, or competitive pricing. From 2018 onward, contracts were repeatedly extended. Extensions replaced tendering. Prior non-compliance became the justification for future non-compliance. Instead of competition, the system produced a guaranteed revenue stream. From January 2022 to December 2024 alone, Clyden earned about $8.2 million from one HDC contract. Between 2020 and 2023, it received at least $20 million more in HDC-related work. UDCOT records show another $19 million paid between 2010 and 2022. These are not small figures. They show scale and repetition. Clyden is part of a wider network that includes Pical Services, Rivulet Investment Group, and SureServe Limited. Directors include close relatives of Foster Cummings. Several companies share addresses and professional services. At peak periods, this network billed the HDC roughly $2.5 million per month. Over 10 years, that equals about $300 million to companies linked to one political figure. The current HDC chairman admitted that over 10 years, maintenance contracts were issued without tender at a rate of about $150 million per year, totaling roughly $1.5 billion, largely to friends, families, and financiers of the previous administration. Keith Rowley and Cummings were in charge throughout this period. They appointed boards, defended procurement practices, delayed the full operation of the Office of Procurement Regulation until 2023, and dismissed repeated warnings as political noise. That delay was a political choice. During it, billions were spent with weak oversight. Foster Cummings says he is a businessman and sees no conflict. But conflict is not only ownership. It is influence and proximity to power in a system where discretion replaces competition. This failure is legal, moral, and institutional. It tells small contractors the system is closed. It tells citizens their taxes fund patronage. And it shows that this did not happen by chance, but through design, tolerance, and silence.